I don't know about you, but I made a lot of mistakes in my 20s, and I'm officially declaring that I'm going to have my shit together in my 30s. So I turned 30 earlier this year, and I just cannot think of a better time to start over. To be honest, my 20s were not great. I literally, I didn't even know what I was doing half of the time. And plus, I just didn't do a great job at setting myself up for the future. So I'm taking all of 2025 to start fresh and finally create my dream life. Hi everyone, I'm Tabs and welcome back to my channel. So I've been looking more into the self-help or self-improvement side of YouTube, and I stumbled upon Xenia's video of how she is taking 300 days to create her dream life. Her video was just so inspiring, and as I was watching it, I noticed that we were actually really similar in terms of our self-improvement journeys, but also in terms of what we do as people. We're both creatives, and we're both relatively the same age, but we both had a 9 to 5, and we're both trying to use YouTube as a way to document our self-improvement journey. I thought it was just a great idea for me to start using or start posting about my self-improvement journey in my 30s, just so I can look back on my growth, but also just as a way to find a bigger community of like-minded creatives like you all, and then hopefully inspire a few of you just like how Xenia inspired me. So as Carrie Bradshaw once said, your 20s are for enjoying yourself, and I did. For the most part. Right out of college, I got a job as a copywriter at a fashion brand in San Francisco, and unfortunately, it was not paying me well enough to live in the city by myself. So I ended up having to move back home to LA, basically to live with my parents again. But luckily, I was able to transfer to my job's LA office at the time, so it all was working out in my favor. Soon after that, I met my partner Kadir, and literally we've just been inseparable ever since. But anyway, I ended up moving in with my best friend Casey, and we had a small little apartment in downtown LA, specifically in historic Filipino town. And we were pretty much partying and going out every single weekend. We were literally living our best lives up until COVID hit. The world basically shut down, and I unfortunately got laid off from my job. So Kadir and I joke that we've just been living through a lot of historical events, but my COVID story is probably not unique or super interesting. I self-isolated, and I didn't really talk to anyone except for Kadir because we were living together at that point, and we were spending every waking moment with each other 24 hours a day. Plus, I neglected my health and was basically ordering out for every single meal. And yes, that resulted in a ton of weight gain. I gained probably 40 pounds, to be honest. And then lastly, I turned a lifelong hobby into a side hustle. My lifelong hobby was nail art, and I ended up selling press-ons for a little bit of time and also doing freelance gigs on the side, but also doing some of my friends' nails for extra cash. With the nail art stuff, I ended up building a following on Instagram and even got to do some pretty cool people's nails. And that is probably how a lot of you all know me. You probably followed me on Instagram first and then just saw that I started posting YouTube videos because I'm not posting nail art anymore on Instagram. But anyway, during all of this, I ended up being able to find another job, and I went through 3 more roles at 3 different companies. So I ended up becoming a copywriter and marketing strategist, and then a marketing copywriter, and then a senior copywriter. But literally for all 3 of those roles, I just kept on getting laid off because the economy was shit. And then since we weren't able to go outside, I lost the minimal amount of social skills that I actually had. And I experienced a lot of personal loss. But to be honest, I was feeling really shitty about myself and was throwing myself pity parties all the time. And I was also feeling really lonely. So now we're going to fast forward a little bit. I've been at my current job for almost 3 years now, and I started off as a senior copywriter at this company, and I moved my way up to become the senior creative lead. And it's been really cool. I've been able to learn a lot. I lead a really small but mighty team of 3, including me. But with like all of these different challenges, I've learned what I really want to do with my career. And I also started therapy about 2 years ago, which has also just been a journey in itself. And then over the last 2 years, I've been able to grow my relationship with my partner, Kadir, and my sisters, and my mom, and my best friends. So I was actually feeling really content at 29, but as soon as I turned 30, I literally felt like a physical shift. I felt something change. I guess something just kind of like clicked in my head when I turned 30. I don't know how to explain it, but there was definitely something that happened and I just started feeling different. I figured that I'm just ready for something new and I want to challenge myself to learn more, lock in finally on my physical and mental health, build even deeper relationships with the people that I care about, and then, just really level myself up. So this is basically how I'm gonna do it. So I decided to use YouTube not only to document my self-improvement journey, but also to act as more of like a creative hub and like a creative community where I can meet like-minded creatives, but also like-minded creatives can come to me to find some support or motivation, inspiration. I've been a long time watcher and sporadic poster on YouTube. Nothing that I posted in the past really ever stuck because I just felt like I didn't really have a purpose in posting. Back then when I was posting, I always wanted to post in the hopes of like virality or becoming like an instant success or like an overnight success, plus the allure of just being like an influencer rather than wanting to actually share valuable information or meeting people like me. This time around though, now that I'm older, I have a point of view that I want to share, but also like a desire to help people and like I said, build a community of creatives. I just kind of figured out what I really want to do with my life with all of these gifts that I have. Now let's talk about the details of my journey. I've broken down my path into 5 different pillars. 1, health and fitness. 2, mental health. 3, relationships. 4, content creation. And 5, fashion and home decor. First, we are going to dive into health and fitness. I've actually been on a health and fitness journey for the past 3 years. I didn't start taking my health seriously up until the summer of last year when I found out that I was pre-diabetic. I had been putting off going to the doctor for years, like for so long, because going to the doctor gives me crazy anxiety. But I ended up finding a really good doctor who made me feel comfortable and didn't shame me for my weight or my body. So with my doctor's help, we basically came up with a plan to help me manage my blood sugar and help me to get my health to where it needs to be. She even referred me to a nutritionist who has been helping me repair my relationship with food. But also, I am no stranger to fad diets in an attempt to lose weight fast. And unsurprisingly, none of them stuck or worked for me. But my nutritionist has been literally a lifesaver and so essential to healing my relationship with food, but also helping me choose foods that align with my health goals, but also help me manage my blood sugar levels. In terms of food, I am prioritizing whole grains, fiber, protein, and a lot of veggies. Plus, I am also trying to drink a lot more water because I definitely was not drinking as much water as I should have been. So for my fitness routine, I am strength training at the gym 4 times a week with 3 active rest days. And of course, getting my 10,000 steps every single day. Getting my steps in has actually been kind of easy. Like, it wasn't that hard of an adjustment because I had been trying to be on this health and fitness journey for the past 3 years. But even though I have an office job, I've been able to get 10K plus every day. And right now, this workout split is what works for my lifestyle. So I don't see myself changing it within the next year. I'm also considering filming my workout split, like my weekly workout split. If anyone is interested in that, let me know. Everything since has just been going great, but I wanted to give myself another challenge on top of everything else that I'm doing, and I decided to do 75 hard. So I actually started 75 hard on March 31st, and today is like day 17. Yeah, I'm currently on day 17, and it has definitely been challenging, but it is not impossible. I'm going to be posting a video about my whole 75 hard journey when I'm done with it, probably, so stay tuned for that. Next, we're moving on to mental health. I've made some positive strides in improving my mental health, and honestly, it all started with going to therapy. I used to not really believe in therapy like that, or even think that I necessarily needed it, but now that I've been in therapy for the past, I think like 2 years, I can confidently say that it's actually helped. So even when I don't have like news from the week or anything that I necessarily need to talk about, even when I don't have news from the week or have like a crazy life event that makes me just want to crash out, there's still always something that my therapist finds for us to talk about. But one of the things that I really wanted to work on was my communication skills, but also how to better manage my emotions and how to be less rigid and more flexible. I also started journaling this year, and I use the Day by Day journal by Lena Lifts. I really like this journal because I just like the layout, but also I really like the types of prompts that the journal offers. Self-discovery prompts, morning prompts, night prompts, goal-oriented prompts. It's just easier to like pick a prompt through the list and then use the free writing space to just jot out my ideas. So journaling obviously is just extremely cathartic, and depending on when I journal, it can give me like a mindful start to the day, or it can give me like a much needed vent session at the end of the day. I have been enjoying my mental health journey so far, and I know that there is still plenty of work to do. So I'm planning on sticking with therapy and journaling about 5 days a week. Okay, we are now going to move on to relationships. And as I mentioned earlier in the video, I've gone through a lot of personal loss. I lost my grandpa about 4 years ago, and then I lost my dad about 2 years ago, and just 2 months ago, I lost my grandma. I always think about all these things that I wish I would have said to all of them before I lost them, or thinking about how I should have spent more time with them, and these regrets are deeply haunting. So I don't want to regret anything with the people that I still have in my life. Kadir and I have been together for almost 7 years. Like this year is our 7th year together, and it's just crazy to see how fast the time goes by. Kadir and I have started doing these intentional dates. We'll go every other week, and we will trade off responsibility of who's going to be planning that date. And last year we were doing pretty well, but then the holidays happened and we had to take a break, and we're starting that back up again this month. It's really fun because we are basically taking the time and really think about what the other person wants to do and just be more intentional about the time that we spend together, even if it is just an hour. And for my friendships, oh my god, so maybe like 2 years ago, I was feeling really down in the dumps, but also like I lost my dad at that point, and I was feeling kind of lonely, but I was also again like self-isolating for a multitude of reasons, and I went on like Bumble BFF to try to find more friends because I just felt like my cup wasn't being filled. And luckily, I was able to make really cool friends off of Bumble, and that has been great, and I love my friends that I met. But I am no longer going to spend time trying to seek out new connections, I really want to just focus on the connections that I have currently, especially with my best friends, but also with like my family members. I've been spending a lot more time with my sister now that we both live in the same city, but also I am spending, again, like more intentional time with the people who I care about the most. Even if it's just an hour, and even if it has to be free, even if it's just going for a walk or hosting like a little craft night at my apartment. So an example that I do with my best friend, we actually go on a 3-mile walk every Sunday morning. And if we can't see each other during the week, then that is our time to catch up, but also like do something free and then get a workout in. And I was just talking to my therapist about this yesterday, but not everyone is going to like me, and I have to be okay with that. That was such a hard lesson for me to learn because I am such a people pleaser and I really wanted everyone to like me, but that's just so unrealistic, you know, trying to just make everyone I meet like fall in love with me. I know that the people who are really there for me will be there for me and will support me the same way that I support them. I'm going to continue to nourish and water those flowers for this upcoming year, and yeah. So now we are going to talk about content creation. Ooh, content creation for me is a little bit of a sticky situation, touchy subject. You know, if you all follow me on my Instagram or my TikTok, or even here, you'll notice that I am not the most consistent girl. I always say that I'm just like too busy to do any of these things and like post, and I felt like I didn't really know what I wanted to post, but also I felt like because I started my social media career with doing nails and like getting pretty popular for doing nails, and now that I don't want to do nails, I feel like when I first started out, I really pigeonholed myself into this category, and I'm just trying to fight it because like all of my social media accounts are technically like nail accounts. I started them as nail accounts. I feel like the algorithm is just getting like hella confused and not really pushing out my new stuff. Seeing my new content not perform is like a sucker punch to the gut. Before, when I was posting nails, the content did amazing and I was getting like 11,000 likes on Instagram. Now that I'm getting maybe like 90 likes, it's really disheartening and it is discouraging for sure. But I am just trying to remember I need to find joy in the creation, not the validation. It's easier said than done. Trust. But this is why I'm going on this journey and trying to get in the habit of just posting what I want to post, getting into the habit of being cringy, speaking about myself, but also getting into the habit of not looking at the numbers right now. I just want to figure out what I like to post, and the community that finds me will be great. And the people that decide to leave the community, they just weren't for me, and that's okay. I am ready and so excited to restart my content creation journey, not only on YouTube, for my creative stuff, but exclusive news. Kittier and I are going to start an Instagram account to show off our apartment decor and plants and cats, to basically just document our home life. I'm really excited for that endeavor. I'm ready to post more about career advice, creative advice, DIY craft, but also just more creative stuff. So now we are moving on to my last and final pillar, fashion and home aesthetics. So when I was in high school, I was basically the fashionista of my school. And I was still a fashionista when I got to college. But after college, like I told you guys, I gained a lot of weight. and my body image and like confidence just plummeted. And I hate to think that my like self-worth comes from how my body looks, because I don't want that, but I did not have a lot of self-love back in the day, and I was not taking care of myself. But also I just stopped fitting like clothes that I liked, and I wasn't able to shop at the mall and get my size anymore, and that of course really made me feel so bad like about myself. Anyway, I just felt like I kind of lost my sense of style because I didn't really know what looked good on my body type, and I was just kind of lost. I wasn't as adventurous with color. I wanted to only wear neutrals and like black because black is slimming. When you're a fat person, society is mean. Society's mean to you. But also the plus size community, like we don't get a lot of cute clothes that are well made but also affordable. It's tough to say the least. Last year, I started being a little bit more creative with my fashion choices, and I've been a little bit more adventurous, trying different brands out, but also I'm just learning how to style clothes or like dress for my body type, which has changed the game completely. But an example of just like not understanding like my body type and how to dress for my body type, I used to wear like the ultra high-waisted pants and like jeans because I thought that those types of jeans hid my stomach the most. But now that I've like tried different types of silhouettes, I've found that mid-rise jeans or like mid-rise pants are so flattering on me. And also I love long sleeves, and I used to love long sleeves purely because it hid my arms, but I actually really love how long sleeves accentuate the silhouette of my arm. I'm going to just shop more intentionally and not buy things that I know do not correlate to the vision of myself that I have in my head. I want to accurately represent my personality through my fashion, and I'm not going to pick things that I know are not me anymore, or things that I know I'm not actually going to wear. But also I want to look more grown because I'm in a new era. I'm feeling myself and feeling my oats. So making better styling choices, but also being more intentional when I shop. And then for home, Kadir is actually really taking the reins on this project. Kadir and I are trying to build our dream home, and I am so lucky that Kadir and I have really similar aesthetics in terms of home decor, because we basically agree on almost everything. Furnishing our home has just been like a dream, and Kadir's really good at sourcing furniture, especially on Facebook Marketplace, but also on like obscure like home decor websites and like furniture websites. That has been like a work in progress. We're still not where we want to be in terms of like how our apartment looks, but we're getting there slowly but surely. And if you want to see our home journey, like our home decor journey, feel free to follow us on our Instagram that I mentioned before. I'll leave the link down in the description. Our Instagram name is Maison Meowgella. Yes. Because at the end of the day, we are a cat home, and this is our cat's house, basically, and we just live in it. We are going to make it the most beautiful cat house that we can. If you've made it this far, I truly applaud you and salute you, because I feel like I've been talking my head off for the past, I don't know, like hour, but I am so excited for my 30s and what my 30s are going to look like. I know what I need to do to build my dream life, and I'm so excited to share this journey with you all. If you are on your own personal self-improvement journey or dream life journey, please let me know in the comments below. I just want to know if I'm alone or if I'm not alone. But also, if you are in your 30s or just turning 30 or about to turn 30 or not 30, I don't know, if you're 45, let me know how your journey is. If you want to be a part of my community, please hit subscribe and like the video, leave me a comment, share the video if you want, or if you feel so inclined to share the video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!